Welcome to Oh My God. As the presidential election approaches, it's not just the people and officials in our country who are paying attention, but even China, on the other side of the globe, is very interested. Although last November, when Biden met Xi Jinping in San Francisco, Xi assured Biden that China would absolutely not interfere in this year's US presidential election. Really, can Beijing, which has a history of not keeping its word, truly stand by and watch without any interference? In fact, China's method of election interference have always been quite diverse. For example, in Taiwan, the Washington Post reported that in the presidential election earlier this year, China sponsored certain civil and religious groups, using these individuals to speak favorably about China and support specific political parties. China also invites officials and opinion leaders to visit China so that upon their return to Taiwan, they can help spread specific narratives. And it's not just in East Asia. Examples of China's attempts to influence elections can be found all over the world. For instance, in the 2019 Canadian federal election, the Chinese Communist Party utilized a vast network, including the United Front Work Department and the consulate in Toronto, to sponsor several House of Commons candidates. Their goal was to get these candidates into Parliament to express pro-China opinions. Even during previous congressional discussions on the TikTok ban, national security impact was a very strong argument. This is because TikTok has been found to host a vast amount of fake images and content created using AI. TikTok has become a hotbed for the spread of disinformation. Recently, during a testimony at the Senate Intelligence Committee hearing, U.S. Director of National Intelligence, Avril Haines, explicitly mentioned that China, Iran, and Russia are the most actively trying to influence the 2024 U.S. presidential election. Earlier this year, in another hearing, Haines responded to a congressman's question about TikTok by directly stating that it is difficult to rule out the possibility of the Chinese Communist Party using TikTok to influence the election. She mentioned that the intentions of these non-democratic countries are very clear. They aim to undermine American citizens' confidence in the democratic system and create greater divisions within American society. The Chinese Communist Party wants to make the American model appear chaotic, ineffective, and unrepresentative. Consequently, if the US becomes engulfed in internal chaos and experiences low legislative and executive efficiency, it will naturally be less able to focus on Ukraine, allowing Russia to carry out its aggression with impunity. Haines criticized Russia for using its established intelligence agencies, cyber agencies, and state-run media to form a vast media network. Regarding China, Haines specifically mentioned new technologies such as big data analytics and generative AI. She stated that China has been using generative AI and deepfakes to interfere in foreign elections for years. There are indicators of Chinese Communist Party interference in elections in Australia, Canada, and Taiwan. Big data analytics can help precisely target audience profiles, analyze their issue spectrums, and deliver corresponding content. Generative AI can create highly realistic images, voices, and video content, making voters believe them to be genuine. Similarly, Microsoft's cybersecurity division, the Microsoft Threat Intelligence Center, made a similar observation earlier this April. They reported that the Chinese Communist Party is currently accelerating its efforts to use AI-generated content and fake accounts to exacerbate divisions in the United States and other regions. The report provided examples, such as China's manipulation of the train derailment accident in Kentucky and wildfires in Maui, Hawaii, aiming to shape public opinion that the US government mishandled these accidents. The report noted that these social media accounts, controlled by the Chinese Communist Party, almost exclusively posted content related to major divisive issues within the US, including climate change, border openness, and refugee intake, fentanyl, and other drug trafficking and racial conflicts. For example, these fake accounts posted about Biden's administration's mishandling of resources, such as wasting expensive F-35 fighter jets. They also criticized the government for passing budget to provide financial aid to Ukraine and Israel, while allocating only a small portion for enhancing border defense. Such posts are designed to incite arguments among users and provoke public dissatisfaction. Microsoft also identified a hacker group funded by the Chinese Communist Party, known as Storm 1376. This group uses AI to generate a large number of memes that target and vilify various officials and dissidents. They also create fake news anchor videos using AI-generated voices, making the content appear more serious and authentic. For instance, in the case of the train derailment mentioned earlier, Storm 1376 aimed to spread the narrative that the US government is secretly hiding the truth. Regarding the Hawaii wildfires, they promoted the idea that this happened due to the US military's mismanagement of weather weapons, among other similar claims. Microsoft's conclusion warned that these cognitive warfare tactics are already targeting this year's series of important elections, including the Indian Prime Minister, South Korean National Assembly, and the US presidential election. By supporting pro-China parties and politicians, the Chinese Communist Party aims to expand its influence. It's not just US intelligence officials pointing out that the Chinese Communist Party is using generative AI to influence elections. The RAND Corporation, a think tank specializing in intelligence and strategy, also issued an early warning last year. They indicated that the Chinese Communist Party is attempting to manipulate global internet users through generative AI. They specifically warned that the 2024 Taiwanese presidential election would be their primary target. In the report released by the RAND Corporation, it was discussed how the Chinese military is using generative AI to create numerous fake accounts and personas that support specific viewpoints and positions. These fake entities quickly shape public opinion online, making certain perspectives mainstream. Furthermore, generative AI can efficiently produce fake news, research reports, and academic papers, articles that appear serious and persuasive. Another think tank, the Institute for Strategic Dialogue, recently published new research findings. They observed that on the social media platform X, some accounts that previously posted pro-China content in Chinese have recently started posing as fervent Trump supporters. In addition to frequently chanting MAGA, these accounts also share posts mocking Biden as senile, pedophilic, and wearing prison clothes. Think tank researchers commented that these Chinese accounts are managed in a way that feels very human, making them more naturally engaging and effective and attractive user interaction. As the election approaches, China's attacks will become more frequent and intricate. In addition to missile tests over the Pacific, mysterious financial flows aiding Russian military manufacturers, and flooding foreign markets with cheap products to crush local industries, China is also using generative AI to sway public opinion and spread misinformation on social media platforms. As previously mentioned, a deeply divided and contentious America is exactly what the Chinese Communist Party desires. When people lose faith in democracy in elections, the CCP can more easily persuade them to turn towards authoritarianism. As long as the Western world is in turmoil, attention will be diverted away from China and its close ally, Moscow. The expansion of authoritarianism and China's pervasive attacks are everywhere. Only by clearly understanding and remaining vigilant against the CCP can we comprehensively defend and safeguard our freedom and prosperity. We're Oh My God, bringing you the hottest global topics every month. If you enjoyed our video, please like, subscribe, and share. See you next time. Bye-bye.